Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. And before I get into the Bitcoin chart for today, I just wanted to make this quick announcement that you can now get access to some bonus content on my channel. Specifically, I make long-term analysis videos, so looking at the higher time frames that I don't typically look at in my actual videos on YouTube. So if you are interested in that, you can go to my channel and click the join button, and you will get access to those videos, as well as a badge next to your name and some custom emojis that you can use on YouTube. So go check that out. Now let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because the price action is looking very juicy right now, where we had this high, started trading to the downside, and now we actually got a bounce from this level right here, which is sitting at about 64,500 US dollars. So that is very interesting to see. And if we can take out this high right here at 66.5K, then it really looks like we are just gunning for this high right here at 67.1K. And in the case that we do break that level, it is starting to look pretty good for the Bitcoin price, because if we do break through this level, then it is quite likely that we reach to the top of the range again, which is sitting at about 71,000 US dollars. And zooming out to this daily time frame here, continuing to take a look at the RSI momentum indicator, it becomes quite clear that my call out right here when we broke this downtrend on the RSI momentum indicator has been a fantastic buy signal, where we broke it, then retested that level and are now just blasting off to the upside, reaching above this 50 level on the daily time frame. And whenever the RSI is above 50, it means that the price is in an uptrend. So that is a good thing to see. And we do have more room to run to the upside before reaching overbought territories on the daily time frame. Although, of course, we must take into account the shorter time frames. So I will get into that in a second here. Though first taking a look at the price structure, because recently we had a bunch of lower highs in the Bitcoin price. However, as I said in my previous video as well, we just had a first higher high instead of a lower high. So potentially if we can now, for example, get a higher low as well, and then a higher high again, then we are really looking at a new price structure that is forming for the Bitcoin price, where we are seeing higher highs and higher lows. And by doing that, the price will trade higher. One last thing to note here is that these pink bars that you can see, they are not price targets. They are simply there to show basically the price structure of setting higher highs and higher lows. So now looking at the short-term 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, recently we traded above this previous level of resistance, which has now been flipped into support. And we can see that perfectly demonstrated right here, because after we got rejected from this level and traded to the downside, we perfectly held support in this level right here. So once again, these support and resistance levels in my videos have been proven to be extremely accurate for predicting the Bitcoin price. Either way, this level of support is sitting from 66,000 all the way down to 65,000 US dollars. Though in the case that we do see the price trade lower than that 65K level, then likely the price will go lower. So for example, right here, we might get some short-term support at 63.2K. However, it is most likely that we actually fall into this large level of support right here, which is sitting from 62.4K all the way down to 60,000 US dollars. But if this was actually the full extent of the pullback before getting a continuation to the upside, well, in that case, we might face some short-term resistance right here at about 67,000 US dollars. But if we do break through that level and trade higher, then the next big level of support is sitting at 68.5K all the way up to 70,000 US dollars. And earlier in the video, I was talking about this 71K level. However, you must keep in mind that before reaching the top of this range, there is actually another big level of resistance that I just mentioned here, which reaches all the way up to 70,000 US dollars. So that is something to keep in mind. And taking a look at this RSI momentum indicator on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, you can see that recently we got into this overbought territory and the RSI just needed to reset a little bit, trading to around this 60 level, but now already pushing to the upside. So clearly we are having some serious bullish momentum right now. But in my opinion, at some point, probably soon, we are going to need some time to actually reset the RSI back to around that 50 level before then getting potentially a next big move to the upside or to the downside. Although on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that right now we have already kind of done that, where we traded into deep overbought territory, but then needed some time to reset trading back to around this 50 level right here, which it did. And now potentially the price is ready to make its next move to the upside. But you must be aware that there is a difference between those two time frames, right? So on the 1 hour, potentially there's some more room to the upside. But on the 4-hour time frame, we are already pretty much in overbought territory. So that is just something to take note of as well. So now taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps, first of all, on the 3-day time frame. And if you are not familiar with this chart, don't worry, because all you simply need to know for now is that the Bitcoin price typically gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart. So where there are the most yellow areas on this chart. And what you can see right now is that on the 3-day time frame, most of the liquidity is to the upside at about that 67,000 US dollar level. So if the price goes that high, then in that case, about $350 million worth of people that are shorting the Bitcoin price will lose their money on their trade. So in the short term, there is some juicy liquidity to sweep to the upside here. However, at the same time, if we zoom out to the 1 week time frame, we can see that there is a lot of liquidity piling up to the downside because a lot of people are longing the Bitcoin price right now, with most of the liquidity sitting at about 60.4K. So this is, in my opinion, something very significant that we must keep in mind, because as more and more liquidity starts to pile up, the more likely it becomes that the Bitcoin price wants to basically get attracted to this level to sweep that level of liquidity first before then going to the upside. However, it isn't guaranteed. So this level of liquidity, in the case we do just get another very sharp push to the upside, potentially caused by some massive inflows from the Bitcoin ETFs, in that case, this level of liquidity can just remain right here and we just trade to the upside. So then taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF inflows, what we can see yesterday is another massive inflow of about $250 million, with most of the Bitcoin ETFs buying tens of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin just on Thursday. And even the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF, which typically is a net seller, which you can kind of still see right here. But even if we just look at these totals in the blue right here, in total, they have sold $17.5 billion worth of Bitcoin ever since the ETFs started trading. And on average, they sell $200 million worth of Bitcoin every single weekday. So seeing a net inflow from the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF is actually a very bullish thing to see. And like I said in a couple of videos ago as well, it completely leaves the door open for the other ETFs to buy and push the price much higher, which is exactly what we have been seeing in these Bitcoin ETF inflows recently. So in tomorrow's video, I'm going to check back in with this, because then we have closed out the week in terms of inflows, because the Bitcoin ETFs don't trade on weekends. So if you do want to stay up to date with the crypto markets, I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel with notifications on, so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Now taking a look at Ethereum, which recently got rejected from the 0.786 Fibonacci level at about $4,000, after which it traded all the way to the downside to this 0.5 level, where recently we got a perfect bounce from that level of support and are now trading to the upside rather quickly. So let's take a look at the short-term support and resistance levels for ETH. Right here, we can see this massive level of support from 3,000 all the way down to 2,850 for the price of Ethereum. And this support level in my videos has been proven to be extremely accurate, because we keep getting bounces from this over and over again, same as here. And with the most recent bounce, we actually traded to the upside and have broken through all kinds of previous lower highs. So we are now setting higher highs in the price, and especially this level right here at about $3,050 is very significant in my opinion, for reasons that I will get to in less than a minute here. Either way, let's first take a look at the other support and resistance levels. So in the case that we do get some kind of rejection for Ethereum and trade below that 2,850 level and below this 0.5 Fibonacci level as well, then likely the price will trade much lower, with the next big level of support sitting at 2720 all the way down to 2,600 US dollars for the price of ETH. If we do continue to trade up from here, likely we will trade into this level of resistance, which is sitting from 3150 all the way up to 3250 for the Ethereum price, with above that the 0.618 Fibonacci level at 33.30. And in my opinion, Ethereum is starting to look pretty good here. Although one thing we must keep in mind when we see these sharp rises in price or sharp declines in price is the RSI momentum indicator, because right now on the 4-hour time frame, we can see it is pretty clear that we are almost in overbought territory. And whenever the RSI reaches overbought territory, typically there is limited room to the downside in the immediate short term, meaning that the RSI needs to reset back to around this 50 level before it can then potentially make its next move, either to the upside or to the downside. The way you see that reflected in the price is that, for example, if we do see the Ethereum price trade a bit higher here and actually reach that overbought territory on the RSI momentum indicator, then the way the RSI resets is either by the price just trading sideways, in which case the RSI would reset back to this 50 level, roughly speaking, because when the RSI is at 50, it means that there is neutral price action. And another way the RSI resets is by getting some bearish price action, in which case you would see the RSI trade down more quickly and even go past this 50 level, because whenever the RSI is below 50, it means that the price action is showing bearish momentum. And the reason I was talking about that 3050 level being very significant is because it is a breakout of this massive falling wedge pattern, which, like I have been saying for quite a while in my videos, is typically more likely to break out to the upside. And right now, in the immediate short term, it is breaking out to the upside. But of course, since we were looking at the RSI, I do think it just needs some more time to actually break through this, where we get a breakout, retest, and then resumption from there. But one thing you must be aware of, just in general, is simply that potentially this could be a signal for you that the price is ready to reverse to the upside. And if you want some more confirmation, then you really want to see Ethereum take out this high right here at about 32.30. Now taking a look at Solana, which recently got rejected from the 0.786 Fibonacci level as well at about $200, after which it traded all the way below the 0.5 Fibonacci level, getting wicks as low as $115. Although eventually we traded back above the 0.5 level, where we first got some short-term resistance at that 0.618 Fibonacci level, but have now confirmed a breakout above that 0.618 Fibonacci level. What you really want to look out for, though, is actually that it does so on the daily time frame, where we will get a daily close in about 9 hours. And the reason I say that is because with these Fibonacci levels, you can get fake outs. As you can see right here, we got a close below the Fibonacci level, but then traded to the upside again. Also here, we got a daily close below and then traded back to the upside again. So with these Fibonacci levels, I really like to take my time before saying like, okay, we got a confirmed breakout above this level, because ideally what you would see is a breakout, a retest, and then resumption from there. Because zooming in on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that Solana is right now in a major level of resistance, which is sitting from 166 all the way up to $171 for the price of Solana. And I just want to note that exactly what I said in my previous video ended up playing out, where I said as soon as we break through this high right here, it is likely that we trade to the upside right into this level of resistance, which is exactly what you can see in the chart right now. And one thing you must also take note of is actually the RSI momentum indicator as well, because right here you can see that the RSI is in overbought territory on the 4-hour time frame as we speak, meaning that right now there is limited room to the upside. So what you can see right now, since we are also in a level of resistance, is that it is not crazy to see a little bit of a pullback here, or potentially just some choppy sideways price action before then potentially taking out that level of resistance. So that is something that you must keep an eye on right now if you're trading Solana. Now, if you are currently alone in the crypto space and you're looking for a crypto community, I highly recommend you join my trading group for free, which you can do with the first link in the description of this video. Even if you are a complete beginner and you don't really know much about crypto, or you just have a lot of questions about trading, it's completely fine to join. And if you don't like it, you can leave at any time. And of course, like I said, it's completely free. Either way, if you end up joining or not, thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.